Namaste, good morning, good afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm outside in the backyard, walking around my bare feet, because it's fun, it feels good. So, so, I think something that's very important that kind of gets in the past was overlooked is like our personal happiness, and like how important it is to actually be happy, you know. And a lot of the times, we get caught up with, honestly, things get overcomplicated, and, it's like we don't realize how simple it is for us to just act, in a way that makes us happy. Like, for a while I was thinking it was like, oh, I must be doing something wrong that I'm not happy, and, but then I kind of realized that it's because I was living in a way that wasn't actually my happiness, It was in a way that was like other people's happiness, and I thought that that would make me happy. But obviously, no, it doesn't. So, yeah, I think a lot of people kind of, are making that transition from, you could call it being codependent, if you want to put a label on it, or, just having, you know, unnecessary amounts of concern, about their actions, about, their life and what they're trying to do. Because the only time that we get overwhelmed, I think, is when we are, not really focusing on what is our happiness, and what brings us joy. And in no way is that selfish. It's not selfish at all. It's actually unselfish, because you're actually letting, like, life kind of do its thing. I mean, there's a reason, like, what makes you happy, is there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing is, like, for me, I realized how simple I enjoy things that are simple, and it makes me happy. I like to kind of like there be very simple things, but then I kind of like to understand them deeply. That brings me joy. And I think that also is with other people, and what can maybe be healing to other people is that if I want to see them, like, unconditionally, just simply, as they are, and then that, I think that is healing in itself. It's kind of like the frequency of healing, and it is kind of like love, in a way. It's kind of like saying you're who you are, and I see that, and that in itself is love. So what makes you happy? It doesn't necessarily need to be something that is some huge thing. It could just be deciding to walk, in the grass and talk about happiness. It could be, just realizing, like, that you don't have to hold on to, um, people, places, and things. And it doesn't necessarily, life isn't meant to be overwhelming. I mean, sometimes it is, and we have to kind of maybe have that experience, but it doesn't need to be, like, all the time. And I think that's what relieves us from that, is kind of like letting go of the things that are overwhelming you, rather than trying to fix them or change them. Because if something is overwhelming you, you know, I mean, it's like maybe you're not supposed to be, maybe that's a belief that's out of alignment, with who you really are. You know, I honestly do think and I think this is something that people kind of worry about. Maybe people who are kind of more codependent, they would this might vibe with them. You know, the world would be completely more harmonious if we were all just acting on our happiness, our personal happiness, you know, and we let go of kind of, you know, what it's going to do for us, or if it's going to help people, or, you know, and just kind of decided, was like, hey, what is it that I could act on right now that would just bring me joy? You know, that would help me to be happy, you know? So, and because then if you do that, you see how simple that is, and it's not about you trying to get, it's not about you trying to get something like from action. It's kind of just like doing the thing that makes you happy. So it's like a letting go and a being joyful at the same time, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of share that simple message with you today. And I really do feel like the world, like, kind of needs to move back into, like, simplicity, you know, and things being simple. You know, I don't think fighting against complication or trying to push through it, even though that is something that is valiant, I don't think that's necessarily necessary anymore, you know? I think it's kind of like seeing the, you know, just feeling that, you know, sensing that it isn't necessary to have life be complicated all the time, you know? And it's okay to relax and to allow yourself to be at peace. And when there's something that comes up that makes you happy, you can act on it simply, you know? You don't have to like go through all of these checklists in your head and say it's like this and that thing has, oh, it's missing that thing, I need that thing, you know? It's kind of like a relief to just be who you are and realize you deserve to be happy, you know? And you deserve to be who you really are. And that doesn't actually go against anything like good, you know? Like a lot of times I think we worry about if we act on our happiness, it'll go against one of our principles or something, you know? But the thing is, if you're really just acting on your happiness of what makes you happy, I think it's impossible that it could go against any of your principles, you know? Your values, you know, your morals. So, I love you. Have a good day. And be well. Namaste.